All right. What is up, everybody? I see a few people joining. We don't have a lot of time this morning. We're going to get lineups here in the next hour. So I'm going to jump in so anybody that's not able to join live has a chance to um, view it afterwards. So thank you all for joining. Those that are up. Sorry again for not having content up yesterday. I kept on looking the entire morning, and it was reserve seats, no salaries at 2 o'clock, and then my day was just out of control at that point with two kids. So wasn't happening. So dropping here this morning. Hope you guys enjoying the Derby. Let's just jump right into the games, the slate, the decisions. I am going to be answering questions. So if you have anything, put it up so I can see it. And I am happy to answer. So I'm going to do my normal single game by game, and then we'll take it from there. So Everton and Southampton, I think, is really interesting. Everton has my favorite play on the slate. He's on the cover, Demarai Gray. Demarai Gray is just everything we want a DFS player. Sets, open play value, goal equity, really their best player by far. And then it's the best matchup, one of the best matchups that Everton's going to have all season. Must win for Everton at home. Need to get 3 points from a fellow relegation contender, challenger, however you want to say it, in Southampton, who is coming off a huge win versus City in the Cup, but also played a lot of their top guys. So I do think the fact that Southampton decided to go for the Cup, which, as a side note, why is a team in the relegation hunt going after a Cup? I get it. The fan base is excited. You want to go after a Cup, but most important thing, stay the heck up, because if you go down in the Championship, you're selling off your guys. I don't think James Ward-Prowse is going to be playing the Championship. I think that an EPL team will come get it. You got multiple young players. You just signed Orsic, all these guys. So I don't know. It's just so wild to me to see teams going for it in the Cup that should be focusing on not getting relegated. But anyhow, so just love Demarai Gray. I think for forward, a lot of the big decisions on this slate are going to come at forward. I think Dominic Calvert-Lewin is not crazy. If you showed up with him in cash or Vardy in cash, I don't think you're crazy, because Dwight McNeil is going to be possibly popular at 6,000. Share of set pieces, he just hasn't been that good, right? He just hasn't stopped being the Dwight McNeil Burnley guy. So, any of those are possible though. I think. But for me, my first click in the slate, Demarai Gray. And then fullbacks, Everton fullbacks don't push forward a ton, but they're cheap enough. So, yeah, they're valuable. On the Southampton side, James Ward-Prowse, I think, is shortlist player of the slate. He is more expensive than Demarai Gray, by the fact that I prefer Gray to James Ward-Prowse. But Monopoly set pieces, great free kick taker. Should be on PKs as well. I think he's by far my favorite option, though, on Southampton. Just looking at predicted. I didn't find myself gravitating towards anybody else in Southampton, so I'm not going to pump them up here. I'd just consider anybody else GPP. El Yanasi, if he starts, has been pretty decent. Forest and Leicester. God, another is it Leicester relegation battle? Not too much. Man, why when did Forest not in the bottom three? Jesus, I did not notice that. I expected Forest at the 19th. Jeez, Wolves way down there. Anyhow, Forest, set pieces, Gibbs White, monopoly of them. We know Leicester's defense has been really poor all season. I think this is really much 50-50 game, just like the first one. Even the odds makers have them pick them. Gibbs White is going to be your only forward on a monopoly of set pieces. Pascal Gross splits some with March. Bowen is going to split with either Cresswell or Fornals. So Gibbs White is your truly only monopoly set taker. I think he's a really, really good play, especially for cash. Maybe more of a GPP type of fade, but he's kind of playing that second striker role, which should have some more goal and assist equity and open play, which is always nice on your set taker. I'd always much prefer a set taker in the attacking third than a set taker in the center of the park. It just gives you more outs. If there's not a lot of set pieces, at least you get the goal equity. You have a central defensive midfielder that's playing more of a 6, sitting super deep, and your outs are tackles. I'd much rather my outs be a goal or assist in the attacking third. So Gibbs White's really good. I don't mind Brennan Johnson for GPP. I think he's been, surprisingly good as well. But, he's a lot more expensive than Vardy. I guess they have Daka here, so we'll have to see who they start. I know Vardy's kind of in some transfer rumors. or like down on Calvert-Lewin or in that punt range. On the Leicester side of things, let's see what sets are. I'm really hoping Albrighton's in. Mark Albrighton just crosses every single ball that he touches, and he's beyond cheap. It's like 4,300. So if he's in, he's easy lock, and he takes over Tielemans, takes over Dewsbury Hall. Let's see. Yeah, Madison is already officially out. If you don't see Albrighton, then Yuri Tielemans is your play. Let me just pull up pricing. I just plugged Albrighton in when I saw the predicted, but Tielemans is 6,500, so he's a really solid play too, especially versus Forest. So that'd be where you want to go for Leicester. By the way, sorry for the kids. Wife sleeps on Saturday. That's life. You're gonna hear Mickey Mouse in the background too. The beauty of live streaming. DACA, GPP, gonna be goal or bust. Harvey Barnes, is enough fine. I'm assuming Harvey Barnes is expensive because he's always expensive. 6,200, yeah, maybe GPP. Like if you're gonna do like a Leicester stack, like DACA, Barnes, Tielemans, Albrighton, do something like that. That'll be very unique. Okay, so we finished those two games. Let's move on to Brighton at Liverpool. Liverpool stink. No Darwin. It's either gonna be like Salah through the middle, or I know predictions are Gakpo through the middle and then Oxlade in there. I strongly, as a Liverpool fan, I'm strongly debating playing Sanchez. I think anytime you have a lot of fluctuations at the front line, it brings a lot of problems. It's been the problem for Liverpool all season, why the goal scoring has not been consistent. So Gakpo is a great player, did great at PSV. This is his first real game in the Premier League, and his other game was a cup game, and he didn't look that great. Like, he looked good, right? Don't get me wrong. But, Liverpool was a massive favorite at Wolves and should have lost the game if it wasn't for, like, a stupid VAR decision that I still don't actually get. So, I'm not running for Gakpo. I think if you're going to play a Liverpool attacker, it's Salah because you get the PK equity. And then it's your fullbacks. I think Trent Alexander-Arnold is starting to look a little bit more and more like normal, crossing the ball a lot more. It's still inverted where he's cheaper than Robertson. I fell for the bait a little while, like a couple weeks ago, because Robertson was taking on both sides. At this point, I'm just going to go back to like DFS 101 rules, which is Trent Alexander-Arnold at 7,000. You probably should just plug in. His floor can just be absolutely ridiculous, especially if the game, if Brighton scores like right away, like 1-0, 2-0 early, like Trent Alexander-Arnold could have 24 points. So I don't want to fade that. So he's another locking cash for me. If you want to play both, I get that too. So Robertson and TA. On the Brighton side of things, Pascal Gross definitely in play for forward. It really just depends on how you see it. While Liverpool are struggling, I still don't necessarily think that Brighton is going to be dominant at all. I have this as more like a 60-40 possession battle, just because Liverpool's talent still is superior to Brighton. Just Brighton's a much better team. I will say this: Brighton, a little bit of drama with kicking Trossard off the team. That's not the drama you want to see before a massive game. So I thought that was a little bit interesting. But Pascal Gross should split with March. Gross would be my option. He should be on PKs too. McAllister was really good for them. Evan Ferguson, the young forward, has been really, really good for them. Oh, I should have mentioned, Liverpool, no Virgil van Dijk. Massive deal, right? Runs that back line. Back line's already been a mess most of the year. Fabinho's not been the same in front of them, giving them cover. So Liverpool likely, I think Liverpool concede here. Just depends on where you see. Matoma, if you want a GPP look, been awesome. The advanced stats of Matoma are absolutely insane. So you could go there too. McAllister is certainly in play as well. Final game, and then why did they kick him off the team? I don't know. New manager and him didn't get along. Maybe he said a comment. I have no idea. They told him he needs to find a new team. So I'm sure they'll get a fee for him, but still stupid. Let's see the final game. Sorry, like back and forth on apps on my phone. Last game, Wolves and West Ham, battle of two teams that should be good but aren't. No better way to say it, right? Both teams have invested. Both teams stink. And shoot, both teams are fighting for the relegation battle. So you have you really have three massive relegation battles, right? Like Leicester's at 17 points and Everton's at 15. So anybody from Leicester downward massive relegation. Like every single game is hugely important. So we got 3 of those. The only game that's not a relegation battle is Brighton and Liverpool. So that's kind of fun. Let's start with Wolves. I have no idea what the F to think about Wolves sets anymore. If Podence has been taken, he's forward eligible. I think that's fine. I would not be shocked, by the way, if Cunha gets a start and Cunha starts taking some. Then you always have freaking old Grandpa John Moutinho, who's just going to sit there, and if he says he's going to take a set piece, then who the hell is going to tell him he can't? Hugo Bueno is taking sets throughout the year. Matthias Nunez is taking sets throughout the year. I have no idea. It's where I get this is where I get nervous. And Storm was here. I can tell you when on Aston Villa slates yesterday, I get so nervous about guys like Douglas Luiz, because if all of a sudden they lose sets, their open play is crap, and you really are drawing to a pass leads to an assist or drawing to a goal. You don't get those crosses, those shots assists from the crosses that really build up a floor. So you always got to be careful about that. That being said, Daniel Podence is going to play in the attacking third. So if Daniel Podence is in, even if he doesn't have sets, he's still going to have value. He's still going to have upside equity. So he's fine. Same deal with Cunha. So let's see what Wolves' lineup are. There's nobody that's locked for me. If the closest one would be Podence, because he's forward eligible, because he takes some set pieces. He's a good player too. And playing a West Ham team, which especially, I don't even know West Ham's home road splits. I'm definitely not curious. Yeah, I was going to say West Ham should be better at home. And they're about the same. They're 17th on both. So, yeah, whatever. They're just not good. They shouldn't playing in Europe for some of these teams that aren't super deep. It's just a disaster. Okay. These things are just surprisingly hard to just talk for 12, 13 minutes straight. Kind of love doing the soda shows with Laird and Hooper, where I don't have to talk all the time. West Ham, Jared Bowen by far the top play. I'm forward eligible. One of my first instincts anytime I have a West Ham slate and they're in a decent match was just plugging Bowen in. And I actually had to pull myself back from it to make better lineups last night. But just, my instinct is I really like Bowen. He's been taking some PKs for them, takes set pieces, crosses the ball a lot open, attacking third, all that good stuff. So I really like Bowen. If you don't see Pablo Fornals, so I should say this. If you see Pablo Fornals, a really, really good play. Can either play like a left mid or left wing back, depending on how Moyes is set up. He would split sets with Bowen. If he doesn't, and you see Cresswell, then Cresswell would split with Bowen. Bowen will never have a monopoly at West Ham. I say that, and he'll probably have one today. But I've never seen a monopoly of him. He always seeks those in swingers. So Fornals will be in play. Cresswell is okay. I didn't find builds with Cresswell. I found builds with TAA and then more cheaper fullback or cheaper center back. I'll tell you, I'm softening more and more to the correlation aspect of if you have a goal you like and you're really struggling with your salary, and this is even in cash. I was always 2 fullbacks in cash. It's the only way to go. And I'm seeing center back scores, especially with the clean sheets, being more and more like $3,000 for a center back, but he gets the clean sheet, correlates well with your goalkeeper, and the guy hits 5, 6, 7, 8 points. It's pretty good. A lot of times these punt fullbacks, especially these ones that are 2,900, you're getting 3, 4, 4 points, and if they're on a dog, they don't have a clean equity, then they kind of suck. So kind of one of those fluctuations in play there. That's slate. So I'm going to open up questions. We're about 14 minutes, so enough of me just rambling. Let me just wrap it up in terms of preliminary core for you guys that are watching. I think I'm locking TAA. I'm locking Demarai Gray. Those are by far I think those are my only 2 locks. And then I think you're going to at least take one of the set taking forwards. So whether it's Gibb White, whether it is Bowen, whether it is Podence, I would want to see one of them in my build. Move from there. However, go Vols. Okay, took me a second. Dude, Tennessee was good this year. That was good to see. It's easier for me to root for other SEC teams when the Gators are complete and utter trash. I don't mind it, but when the Gators are good, I hate everybody else in the SEC. Top 2 defenders on DK under 4,500. It's gonna be gross, Travis. I'm looking. Just give me a second to scroll. Thomas is there. I don't love him. Kyle Walker-Peters is, like, allergic to crossing. Like, he had so many attempts at City to put a ball in the box that he would just, like, sail across the ground. Another, like, random, like, Opta annoyance is sometimes Opta gives the low cross as a cross, and sometimes they don't. That just bugs the crap out of me. Not great, Johnny. Michaelenko is the first name that popped up that I'm half doing. Like Emerson, if in as left wing backs, Emerson's easy. He could even take some set pieces. Semedo is viable. Coleman, I believe that Patterson's out, which might push Coleman to right back. I will tell you, I'm a little nervous on Everton. I would like look through when Everton's lineup comes up, look through their fan reactions to the lineup. Coleman could play a right side center back, and they could play a wing back beside him. Like Iwobi's played like right wing back and stuff before. So just be careful with Seamus Coleman. Dude, there's not many options under 4,500. They really suck. Like that's where all of a sudden when I'm looking and there's like a guy that's okay for 3,900. Like Michaelenko's okay. Well, if all of a sudden I drop down and let's say I'm playing, say I'm playing Sa, right? I got some Wolves center backs down here at low 3,000. Could I take the extra 700 or 800 and upgrade somewhere else? I think you should play around with that. Bully, yeah, there's a Wolves center back there. Or is Bully not? No, Bully's not on the Wolves anymore. Is he on Forest? 3,700 though, man. That's a little pricey. Yeah, no problem, Travis. Absolutely. Any other questions? Shoot questions in here. If not, I'm gonna jump off and get more coffee. I have a lot of coffee. But welcome to my kitchen. Normally, I have this little visual screen, but on these live streams, no fake screen. So here you go. You give me like 1 minute. I will say this too, just while like I'm buying time for anybody else to ask any questions. Is like James Ward-Prowse is the guy I'm struggling with the most on this slate. If I'm just transparency of like, I know if I play him, he's in great shape. It's a great matchup. Everton sucks defensively. Everton also, I'd like to score a goal or two, which could push James Ward-Prowse into like an epic game script. And those are the games that we can get like the 13 to 15 cross James Ward-Prowse games. But he's expensive. He makes you not get a second like good forward. And depending on like what the midfield options are, right? Like if we get Albright in, do we get some other guys? Do we really need Ward-Prowse? Oh God! Of course, I get a goalie question. I'm teasing Danny. The goalie question's the hardest. I'll probably do a little rant here in a second, but Henderson I think is very viable. He was great in the cup. Henderson's a very very well regarded goalkeeper. I mean, if you're signed for Manchester United, that's a good sign. Yeah, I think he's fine. I have him. Greg, who's your James Ward-Prowse and a cheap second 40? Yeah, that's kind of the build I'm on my prelims. Yeah. Lock tonight, Fidel Lock is too strong for me. I think really, really solid play, but like I put Pascal Gross up against Jared Bowen or up against Gibbs White, and I think for those, I see a few people that are here like on the FSI chat, like people that are subscribers will know like sometimes like we used to have a little like slogan. It was like the one who scores more, right? Because like once you get in soccer specifically, like you can look really, really smart in hindsight. You can look really, really stupid. But like we have to kind of go, okay, here's the best spot, here's the best role. But like the actual, like if you wanted to say projections, I hate projections in soccer, but the projections could be like 1 point away from each other. So, if I had to say projection, I would say like Gross, Gibbs White, and Bowen. I would always put like a floor in that like 8 to 10 range. And the real correct answer is going to be whichever one scores, right, or gets an assist. Like that's just how it goes. So I think Gross. If you like Brighton to win, if you like Brighton to score 2 goals, then yeah, you play Gross because with being on a majority of set pieces and likely on PKs, that means he's going to be part of it. Who's your favorite cheap defender? Yeah, I mean, if you guys like the live, like, please just give me feedback in the comments. I mean, I don't mind doing it as long as these kids over here are behaving like they are. Like, this is easy. That's half the time I do the car because, like, once I get home, it's a complete utter for my French, but it's a complete shit show when I get here. 2 boys, it's ridiculous. But cheap defender, God, I don't like any of them, Graham. I really don't. I know Seamus Coleman at one point was in a prelim holder for myself because if he's playing right back, Seamus Coleman's half decent, but I don't like him. There's nobody down there. I think Emerson if starting would be my answer. Emerson's a half decent DFS player, but I don't know if he starts. Yeah, I appreciate. By the way, just it's worth. It's cool to be like go to live. I so much appreciate the support. I know EPL is a little bit niche and stuff like that, but I do everything I can to get you guys content up as much as I can, and I really love this live chat and getting that stuff. Yeah, so Brad, here, okay. So here's like PSA, call me greedy, whatever. I don't care. It's not going to be live because at that point, if we do this live and I give you all the stuff after lock, kind of for the company for FSI, kind of shoots ourselves in the foot, right? I'm just out here giving all the info away, so to speak. You know, a lot of the like what I think a lot of the I try to give you guys a lot of pretty much. I don't hold anything back on my previews or like doing things like this. I'm going to tell you anything I've got, but once lineups come out, like for like people that are paying for subscribers, jump in our chat, be there with myself and Tendril Storm. That's where a lot of the value is. Like when a lineup shakeup happens, now who's on set pieces, right? Now who's the biggest benefit? Who's the values out there? And that's where you can kind of get that advantage. And that's where a lot of the edge comes in DFS, especially DFS soccer. I will tell you too, for like those people just watching, one of the biggest edges in DFS soccer are the interleague slates because there's no content out there for them. Like EPL, like there's some great people doing things. I think for Run Pure, for RotoWire. Yeah, that's the only two I know. I'm sure there's other niche guys and gals out there doing some great stuff, but there's enough people doing EPL content that there could be kind of consensus. I watch none of it because I don't want to be skewed. I know there's some smart guys out there doing it, but nobody does interleague content. We do it for subscribers, but like that's where you get French league, you get Serie A, you get La Liga, you get some championship, you get these teams and players that people don't know anything about. And I'm a geek and I love soccer so much that I know all the players, and that can be some good advantages. Any other final questions before I jump off? 22 minutes. Wow. I'm surprised that the kids, that the 4-year-old hasn't come over here to try to jump on, that the 9-month-old hasn't thrown up. This is living a dream. This is a hell of a morning for me. Final minute. If I don't see any more questions, I'm going to end this. Pretty cool, though. 27 people live. Appreciate you guys so much. All right. 3-second countdown. 3, 2, 1. Thank you all so much. That was really fun. I will definitely try to do this again. Maybe hell, I know I normally don't do Sunday content, but the kids are tomorrow morning, or I'll talk tonight, or I'll look tonight, and let's maybe try to do one tomorrow morning. So, all right, guys, take it easy. Thank you all for watching. Bye.